over on the red, and you can see it in the wide-in zoom. It's Kennen first ban for Lyon Gaming.
Kennen coming out, obviously somewhat towards Doxy up in the top side. Blasting hasn't played it during the regular split coming into MSI planes, but of course that's being from Europe, and then the CIS region scrimming a lot with European teams. We saw the advent of Kennen come through as an AD carry pickup as well at the end of our season. So for VP, it's Ivern off the table. This is something we've seen a whole bunch of times in the conventional meta that developed specifically over in Group A with that Ivern, the Caitlyn that came alongside it.
Right, and earlier today we saw Lyon Gaming rocking not one but two trees in their composition. This time they won't have the same option. They banned the LeBlanc out.
That means no two trees, no two chains at this point, with LeBlanc being taken off, no Mimic available, obviously, and now we get to see where else we're going to go. Is it going to stay conventional? Because 4 bans in so far, Lulu being taken off the board is another one you have to anticipate. Just is within the regular meta. Elise gone as well, so we are sticking now a little bit more towards the junglers. We know that Adi likes his Kha'Zix. Kriox also loves Kha'Zix as a champion to play, both their highest played coming into the MSI play-ins. Who's going to get their hands on the bug, the Void Bug?
Depends on how high they value it in the first pickup. Lyon Gaming could very well take that one away if it's not banned here by Virtus.pro. VP have decided to get rid of pretty much a whole lot of that protection comp, including the Caitlyn that complements it. But Lyon Gaming, instead of Kha'Zix, they have their eyes set on LYN. Adi locks it in. Yeah,
locked in. We've seen the emphasis of LYN rise through as well. Once Ivern's off the table, it's one of the strongest junglers still available. That Kha'Zix is there. We know there's also the likes of a Rengar that we haven't seen so much after a few adjustments. MSI play-in stage has generally tended away from that Rengar, seeing the Kha'Zix of Graves as the jungle picks.
A few seconds ticking down. VP have flashed a lot of interesting stuff, but at the end of the day, they go back to something tried and tested. It's the Graves locked in for Kriox, I should say, and they're going to pick up this Azir to follow through. We haven't seen too much of it.
Surprised. I mean, it is, as we said, a kind of game where we might get a few more of those picks. Kriox playing around with the crowd, of course. Been a very loud, passionate crowd all 4 days so far.
Whether or not the hometown team is playing, they have been making the noise, and see if they do it again. The Lucian's locked in for Blasting now. See if he pairs up with Santos for the Braum. We saw that earlier, and it was a real Bash Bros kind of bottom lane.
Or will it be the Blitz? That's what I want to see.
Saw it once already.
That again can have a little bit more of a surprise out of that bottom lane.
Once you've already gone Blitzcrank, though, I mean, how do you up the ante from there? What do you go that's even crazier than that?
Trinity.
Don't even say it.
I don't think that's getting picked. Galio available makes a lot of sense. Now, will we see one of these later scaling AD carries that allows the Galio can protect? Or maybe we'll see the support focus taken away from the ability to play around that Lucian Braum composition, but this is a lot of frontline now for whatever White Lotus wants to play, and normally he's the one playing towards the front line, flashing forward, getting as many combos down as he can.
The crowd just wants him to pick Teemo. That's what these guys are cheering for now. Why the hell not? When it doesn't matter too much, you're looking for the exhibition, give yourself a challenge. But why do that when you can play yourself something else strong up in the top lane? It is going to be the Rumble for Doxy.
Yeah, up in the top lane. Those of us from Europe, of course, now would be saying, well, it's not in the jungle. A lot of our junglers like taking that in that
We've had a couple of top laners playing Graves, just not recently.
Not recently. Wouldn't be expecting that swap around now. But as we get into phase 2, here we get to see a little bit of that priority towards AD carries go against Lyon Gaming. There goes an engage tool. Somebody that White Lotus would normally sit back on, get the engages down with the enchanted crystalline arrow. Would it be support focus or mid focus that comes out here from Lyon Gaming?
Well, they took the Braum away. Wouldn't be too surprised if they decide to shut down what else Santos can bring to the party. That mid lane, Paranoia, there are a lot of strong picks up, and that's one of them removed. Syndra no longer an option.
Yeah, we saw the hover of Katarina earlier. That would be a fun one.
Couple of hovers.
Paranoia pick up. He did play a game of it back in CIS. Talia, remember, is his most played champion. And with a Rumble already on the board, you may very well see that come through. If VP end up blind picking that, obviously then they have to deal with whatever Lyon want to counter pick with.
Yeah, we were talking earlier in the day that VP should have gone off the Talia picks a little earlier, but now that it doesn't matter too much, why not stick to what you know? Maybe they'll try to branch out a little bit. It was Orianna earlier today. There's an Ahri band away. Speaking of mid laners, once again, Zay wanted to keep himself in a favorable matchup. Won't be able to counter pick, unfortunately, but we'll see what Virtus.pro decide to pick up here. Are they going to take their mid laner or their support?
Could be something like the Karma, the Nami that we've seen out of other support players, but as we said, Talia could be the option here if they're waiting to see what the AD carry from White Lotus is going to be.
CIS special.
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
It's time to burn. Brand is locked in. That's a lot of firepower on the side of Virtus.pro. But is this the Lyon Gaming plan? You have got so much frontline. You're going to bring an AD carry that can go right along with them.
Well, I don't feel like I want to play Vayne into Lucian Brand, particularly, although Braum will defend against the Brand.
The crowd is feeling exactly what I was, Stress.
Braum will do a decent job against the Brand. I was feeling like I would want to see the Vayne. I just normally wouldn't want to think that was the best setup. Now, Braum Tristana is a fantastic lane for going aggressive.
Maybe they do it here. That's a nice hyper carry. Scales up into that late game, self-heal and everything. Paired with that Braum, you can get those stacks on once you get your attack speed up and running. But this is another option.
Another one.
We got the Callista locked in. You can be chucking that Braum right into the thick of things.
Not only that, now that you've got the Lucian, you know it's a short-range AD carry on the other side, now allows you to take more trades effectively. Callista a lot of the time gets outranged, so a nice exciting bottom lane duo from both sides. Normally you wouldn't think Braum was that exciting, but with a Callista that can throw him in at a moment's notice.
Be the first Callista we get to see on this stage so far too. See how it ends up going on for Lyon Gaming, and the last lock-in is going to be that Cassiopeia for Paranoia in the mid lane, up against the Talia of Seiya.
VP not short on the magic damage.
Definitely
in this
not.
Game.
That is.
Selva's up.
I think this is the type of game that you want to build a Spirit Visage.
Yeah, we'll see where Giral ends up going as well. Remember, damage reduction coming from the top lane. So VP have pretty devastating AoE when you look at it. You got the slows and the inability to escape from Cassiopeia, the equalizer. You've got Brand to bounce around people. Whereas Lyon Gaming, we're going to see a lot of people go into the bot lane here. Callista is going to have the support of a Talia, of a Galio, of a Braum. So Lyon Gaming focusing White Lotus as really the main carry of this team.
Yeah. Expect Audi to make a lot of frequent trips down there to start things off. He definitely has a little bit more gank ability earlier than Creox does, but Virtus.pro, if they can hold on and get those team fights going, we've seen what these guys can do when they group up and push down the mid lane. They are hard to stop. That train can plow on through, but we'll see if Lyon Gaming can get themselves off to a nice lead early on. Remember, this is an exhibition match. These teams have nothing to lose, but possibly a little bit of pride, and maybe they can gain a little bit back for themselves on this big stage. Some newer players to this big stage, Virtus.pro. They want to show up as big as they can. They got one win on the board, but they could have easily had a couple more. Will they be able to take out Lyon Gaming? That's the question.
Yeah, keep in mind it was Lyon Gaming that base raced them in Game 1 of Group B, put that hope of Game 1 out of Virtus.pro's reach, and that was the Blitzcrank game as well. So these two have already had a bit of a bombastic game that went crazy from the beginning. We'll see if this mirrors that as well.
Well, it ended crazy, and now will we see if it keeps on going? Genthix is deciding to give Santos his due on that Braum, riding the Poros into battle. As we open up this match, Lyon Gaming versus Virtus.pro. Who's gonna take it? Let's find out. Five-man roam down the bottom side. VP don't look like they're expecting this one.
Santa's only meant to come once a year. Like, this is too many times now for my liking.
It's Christmas in May, Stress. Sometimes you get a little extra treat.
Well, Lyon Gaming are going to try and lock down Santos.
For the President Adam, he has to burn his flash.
Yeah, flash already now down for Santos. Of course, ignites out of both supports should be the right kind of setup. That's what we like to see. Heavy trades in the bottom lane to be expected, although now Santos, of course, will have to be a lot more careful to start things off.
Could expect a lot more action down there early on. You could see, though, Lyon Gaming shaking their heads that they couldn't quite get the kill, but the flash picked up early on. That's not too shabby, considering they didn't burn any of their own summoner spells. Paranoia going to be waiting and baiting in this brush. Nobody's going to be taking the bait this time, though. Lyon Gaming, they are going to go right back to the standard. We'll see what the Lee Sin starts. With the ward out there, he's going to be spotted if he does decide to go for the Raptor camp instead. Audie's heading down bottom, looking for that red buff.
Meanwhile, Giral on the top side just warded out on the blue buff. It was spotted by VP. They had a ward on blue buff already after Lyon showed themselves in the bottom lane. So this isn't the same level of explosive play that we saw in the last game, where there was 3 kills already by this point.
I mean, that's a high bar to set, right? They were trying for it. You got to give some credit to Lyon Gaming. They wanted to make some action happen early, get themselves off to a solid start, just like they want to do in these lanes.
Well,
VP, they weren't biting.
potentially here we go with the action. As you see, look where Audie's pathing down. if ever there was a time to look towards the bottom lane. But good respect out of VP, knowing that Oddie could actually be there. And what that means is Oddie's actually recalling out early, does cancel it for now as Lucian and Broma coming back forward into the lane. You're having to watch it on the minimap. He's going in bot side. That flash, remember, not down.
Go Santos, he is not going to go anywhere. That's first blood over to Oddie. LYN representing on the bottom side. White Lotus and Genthix happy to have that help.
Not available, should I say. That was a bit of a waiting around from Oddie, but nevertheless, capitalize on the flash not being available. It means he doesn't actually trade, it doesn't lose buffs, doesn't get 3 buff from this, because despite Creox going now into the top side jungle, they're able to get VP's blue buff. So look at how long Oddie was actually sticking around here. Winter's Bite connects. White Lotus flash forward, flash from Oddie, get the stun, get the kill. Easy peasy. Ignite was used as well. Just throw everything at the brand.
That was nice patience there. Oddie took his time and just waited until the VP bottom lane started to push up, so picks himself up the blue buff and an extra Gromp on top of it with the help of Genthix going through this jungle of Virtus.pro, and you can see it's being matched by Creox, but it's still a race to level 6. Creox is only 3 right now, and Oddie should have a little bit of experience advantage getting that first blood out. Question is, does he decide to dive Jarl? It's going to be hard to do. Even at level 3, Galio is still tough to crack. Especially
the fact that Jarl now placed that ward. Almost impossible, you would have to think, out of Creox. Does get rid of the Blast Plant just to stop any tricksy moves up towards the top side from Oddie later on. But right now, Creox has been able to clear those camps a little faster. You can see now Oddie comes down to the Rift. Scuttler will clear that out. It's an Infernal Drake as the first one on the Rift. So what better a way to start out an exhibition match like this? Well, it might be another gank onto Santos. This time warded out, so Oddie will just end up recalling away.
Yep, fool me once, well, you get first blood. Second time around, it's not going to be so lucky, but Blasting and Santos still hanging around, not pushing their luck and not daring to push back further. White Lotus and Genthix pretty much holding the line here. LYN stopped his back a couple of times. Oddie spending a lot of time. Blasting, who is down to half health. He can't really go too far forward in this one, and neither can Santos.
Yeah, you can see White Lotus did use his potion already. Blasting just used his in exchange. I believe they just spotted Graves. No, not quite on the Rift Scuttler as he was coming through, but now it's going to be a bot side jungle trade. You can see that Graves on the Raptor camp. I don't think Oddie's actually going to go up and try and fight Creox. He knows that Creox is likely a little bit stronger after a recall, isn't hurting from clearing the jungle recently, and Graves just generally clears very quickly and very safely anyway.
Yep.
Of course, that knockback means he doesn't really take too much damage.
So Oddie's going to have to give up a little bit of his own jungle. Oh, nice and Troll leaving the one Raptor up, so you don't get the full respawn for Oddie. You can find that one out a little bit later. Meanwhile, back to check in on the mid. It started with a little bit of a push early on in the game, but close to level 6 right now. We could see the all-in potential. Seiya on this Taliyah, something that Paranoia should know well how to deal with. But it has been a much more quiet affair in that lane because everyone has been wanting to make plays in the bottom side.
Yeah, a lot more focus towards that bottom side. I mean, that's to be expected when you've got Galio and Rumble up in the top lane. 2 champions that, while Rumble does have a great laning phase, his real impact is, of course, keeping into fights, as we've seen for years and years. So no real emphasis right now on the top side, but Oddie is hovering around up there looking for a possible Rift Scuttler. Notices is not there, so we'll end up just going into the enemy jungle right now. So Oddie, despite the kill early on, he has had a little trouble getting farm from the jungle, just because Creox has gone in, cleared it out. You can see that Raptor did end up dying for Oddie, so he's hurting for now, but looking topside now. Trying to get Krugs maybe sneak in behind Doxy.
Looks like that could be the ticket. Doxy does have his flash. Just hits it. Here we go. Wins the war. Coming on in. Oddie decides it's a little bit too much of a risk here, and there's pings for Virtus.pro. They spotted out Oddie, and he's not going to be able to get anything else done. Active movement on the map for this LYN, but it's not going to come to anything else. And there's level disadvantage. Creox still showing him up for the time being. See what he's able to get done as he makes a return trip into this jungle that's been warded out as they spot Genthix.
Fortunate timing for Doxy up in the top lane. That feeling when your ward didn't spot out the LYN and you're not quite sure whether he's ganking. Hit level 6 and you know everything's okay.
There we go. Uh-oh, things aren't okay for this guy right now. Throws the Unbreakable down, but Santos is able to wreck him down to 0. So, kill picked up for the support brand. Not the first time we'd seen that out of a CIS team.
No, not at all. That was an interesting setup because the way that Seiya was having to play up in lane, he was playing towards the warded side, which was not the side that Genthix was on. Genthix trying to get as much vision control as possible. Now Oddie wants to come in mid.
There's the Q as he followed the last second. No, he's not going to get the Lee Syndrome. Virtus.pro have been committing to this Infernal Dragon. It's going to go over to them, all set up by the kill on the Genthix earlier on, and that's going to help this VP squad. Later the game goes, remember, their game plan is to try and stick it out a little bit. 1-to-1 in kills, the gold advantage is theirs.
And that deterrent from Cassiopeia, you can see, just puts the miasma down. Audi knows, okay, I can't go in there. Tries to cut around the side, but doesn't want to end up getting all in there. So Audi had to hesitate for a moment. Does end up getting the ghost from Paranoia. It's a small win. Very small one, but nevertheless, we'll see whether that affects VP's ability to roam out of lane. Saying that, they did just get themselves an Infernal Drake from that kill they found on Genthix, so it's kind of all going in VP's way for now. Despite the first blood going against them, it's turned back around in their favor.
Yeah, after Audi was able to pick up that first blood, even though he was all over the map, he just wasn't able to get anything else back for it. So despite the moves down bottom side, the constant pressure that Lyon Gaming have been trying to apply, it's all come to naught for the time being, and they're going to have to try a different tactic because VP seem to have their number.
For now, at least, and remember, this is how game one between these two ended up going, back and forth.
Yeah, right until the teleport into the base.
Back and forth.
Yeah, that was one hell of a game, and even if this one doesn't have the same stakes, you wouldn't be too surprised to see somebody pulling the trigger on that. And VP, you got to think these guys are going to want revenge because they were so damn close to taking it.
Yeah, you've also got to think that Lyon Gaming would want a little bit of redemption, get a couple more wins on the board. Obviously frustrating for them that with the losses to Marines, basically put an end to their hopes of qualifying for MSI, but at the same time, you look at how Lyon traded in the games, and very long, prolonged games compared to what they were used to. The Marines just seemed so much faster about playing the game, so much more active. I'm glad to see Audi in this game making proactive plays, just like Giral is now. Here comes Seiya into the bottom lane.
They're going to cut off blasting right now. He just instantly dashes right on over. The walls aren't going to stop him, but looks like this could be the first tower going over the way of Lyon Gaming if Doxy can't quite push it off. Oh no, the minions aren't there.
They've run out of minions, which is unfortunate timing on the play here. As Lyon Gaming can now move up towards the turret, but it allows VP to just reset themselves as two people into this tower. A lot easier to defend 2 versus 3 than 2 versus 5.
There we go. They're going to be able to take him out. Towers be damned. He flashes, but too late. White Lotus pulls out the Ren stacks. That's going to be all said and done, but Doxy's the one who gets to the tower first. First tower blood going his way. Meanwhile, Audi trying to contend 1v2 in the mid as Seiya wasn't able to join him. Cut off for the rest of the team. Burns his flash to make his escape. Still 2-to-1 on the kill counter, not for lack of trying.
So I said it's easier to defend 2 versus 3. Doesn't mean it's always going to be successful in that case. You saw Blasting that time, had to use his summoners, couldn't really get himself out. But again, top tower went down first. Doxy got the amount of time in the bottom lane. The fact that Giral had been out of lane and had been behind losing the lane meant that Doxy could just push it up, try and get damage down onto the tower. This is a little greedy if he overstays, but he already knows it. He's backing himself away. Doesn't want to really overstay in this lane, especially with that Galio being able to cross a lot of distance if Audi was to decide to go in alone.
Oh yeah, you gotta get out of the way, and now he's gonna be able to back. Just a few seconds, Giral decides to not interrupt it. Like he wouldn't be able to do it, didn't have the cooldown till the Winds of War just yet. Seiya going to be able to pick up his blue buff. So 10 minutes into this game, things are still fairly even. I can't really even at this point.
It's evening somewhere, Devin.
Definitely true. And Virtus.pro, they did lose out on the gold lead at first, but then picked it back up by being able to get that top tower. And at the cost of being dove down to the bottom lane. I think Blasting's not too worried about it, though. You got so many offensive weapons on this team that even if one of your champions isn't getting up to speed, the rest of them can certainly pick up the slack.
I always want to see White Lotus getting up to speed, especially on a mechanically demanding champion like Kalista. I want to see him flash in, just proc a billion Ren stacks. Keep him stacking throughout all of it after you got that Hurricane. I want to see him go super aggressive, throw in the Braum, throw in the Galio on the Braum, double knockup.
Yeah, that's a big, beefy front line. And honestly, one of the things about Braum being able to knock people up on his ultimate doesn't have the biggest range when he's trying to sit a little bit further back, but if he's able to close that gap quickly on a Fate's Call, that's a different story right now.
Actually, triple knockup, you're right. Genthix throws out his ult, Giral comes in too.
All that's missing is a Yasuo.
This is a trampoline competition.
Definitely. White Lotus definitely can show up with some damage.
Yeah,
one of the big carries.
Why didn't Seiya pick Yasuo? This is like the perfect game. The only thing they'd be missing is if that was an Alistair instead of a Braum.
Ah. Yeah, you get a big bouncy castle for sure. And they could have gone Zac jungle for even better.
to get one last game in on the...
It's the kind of things we theory craft. Games don't matter for the standings anymore.
Hey, the VP team, I believe, have Moo as their coach. He used to be the coach of Gambit. Just employ the Darien strats. Like anything you can think of that you can make work is gonna be great in a game like this.
Well, the new Warwick's been pretty scary. Tears it up in the solo queue, but that's also in the jungle position. This game has definitely looked a little bit less like the solo queue. Lyon Gaming coordinating, trying to find picks in the bottom side, but it just hasn't happened. VP have kind of dried that option up. And with the towers kind of open here, the question is, what are they going to look to try and snowball? It's hard to find anybody on the VP side getting any of those picks, and this team is not getting any weaker.
No, not getting any weaker, but VP as well. You look at it, that brand when it has the ultimate available, still only level 5 for now, is going to have that massive impact in team fights, you would imagine. Get the multi-person ult down, get the equalizer on top of it, and if you just put it on everywhere you think the Braum is about to land, maybe at that point you can actually take all the knockups because nobody can put damage down on you if you throw out all the AoE.
So you're saying damage is better than displacement?
I mean, if you're displaced but there's no one on the enemy team to kill you, was the displacement even worth it?
I think that is pretty rock solid logic here.
I don't think it's going to catch on as much as if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, but you know,
well, the tree was banned, so hey, not this game.
One of them was.
Yeah.
I guess he fell over and we heard it, so.
Pretty much. Oh man. It's kind of interesting to see where Lyon's trying to put their presence right now. It looks like we're going to get cut off onto White Lotus. Will he be able to get away? He does have both of his summoners, but he is burning way too fast. Doxy coming out of nowhere to pick him up really quick. And you got to wonder what Lyon was thinking. Now there's pings flying for the VP squad, looking for fights on two fronts, or at least being able to siege down this tower.
Yeah, White Lotus just too far away. You saw Galio the other side of the map, so didn't really have the ability to cross over. Now, of course, we'll utilize that teleport to get in and defend the wave. Here comes Oddie. Remember, we can see him jump in. There's no equalizer available for Doxy. Galio can cross this entire distance if Oddie goes aggressive.
Nice dodge by Creox. Lets him turn around. Jiral's here, though. Team seem a bit skittish. Not wanting to pull the trigger just yet. Very tense, very close. It's only 500 gold being the difference, and that dragon is definitely going to start to make more of it as the game goes on. Next one on the map will be the Cloud Drake. A bit less battle stats, but teams can get into the action a little quicker. Audie's back to mid lane. Here we go, looking for Paranoia. Kicks him right on top of the rocks, and Seiya cleans it up.
Yeah, Paranoia had a couple of options there. Was wondering whether Oddie would turn like he did in the last engage, so thought, okay, I'll go aggressive onto Seiya, try and play the mind games, stop some of the damage. But Oddie comes in from the top side, gets the kick onto the minefield, and there's not much more to do.
There we go, the Braum knockup. Audie staying alive right now, and Seiya still keeping the cover. Jiral even makes a hero's entrance.
It gets a little bit of that damage reduction. A lot of the damage had actually finished in the fight, but Jiral wanted to make sure nobody could pick up a kill on Oddie, then had burned his flash already.
Meanwhile, it means White Lotus is uncontested up top for a few seconds as Doxy's making the slow route up there, but should be able to clear this wave without too much trouble. He's got the Leandries.
This time, look at how many wards are on the top half of the map for Lyon Gaming. They're saying, no, 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 White Lotus will protect you. Everything's okay. Just push the tower down. Because they know that blasting is going to do it on the other side of the map. This Lucian is just going to run forward with Santis, push down the tower as fast as they can.
Nobody here to stop him, though, compared to what Doxy's doing on the top side. 3 members of Virtus.pro. You can see where their equivalents are. Lyon Gaming are all in the mid lane right now. This is going to be VP getting the faster push off.
And the difficulty is, as you mentioned earlier, Doxy was able to clear out the wave underneath White Lotus without really any threat. And that means look how far away the next wave in top lane is. It's not even past the halfway mark of the rift. So it means Lyon have to recall out, respect the fact they just lost another tower faster, as VP have been better at playing the tower game than Lyon have this game.
Yeah, a little unexpected. We saw VP, you know, like favoring, pretty much going up the middle time and time again. Maybe it's some time before they decide to do it this game. However, they've been out-rotating Lyon Gaming so far, and that's what's netted them a tower advantage here. 16 minutes into the game. See what Lyon Gaming can do to really counteract that, but it's getting harder for these guys. They needed to get ahead early, and they're starting to fall behind.
Big wombo combo fight. That's what I want to see. They aren't quite at the point where they have Hurricane on Kalista, so not quite at the point where you can jump around a team fight and rend people into oblivion, but we're getting there. And Lyon, of course, their games have gone on so long that most of them have been decided by team fights towards the end of it. It didn't really matter who was too far ahead either way. Lyon Gaming just kind of winning fights and winning the game.
Well, they do have a lot of experience together and playing on the big stage as well. This is a team that, remember, came in honestly expecting to win out of their group. A lot of people consider them a favorite for Group B, but Virtus.pro is showing up right now. Obviously, Gigabyte Marines were maybe not the biggest surprise, but certainly surprising to the likes of Lyon Gaming. Virtus.pro looking to do the same thing.
Dogsy knows what's up with what his enemies are about to build. He is poised to potentially finish a Void Staff as a second item on Rumble, which we do see from time to time when you do have stacked AP. Certainly not that I'm just going to survive for a bit longer build. It's the, okay, I'm just going to kill you as quickly as I can. Yeah. Burn through all of your resistances.
Why do you need resistance if you can kill them before they can do any damage?
Exactly. See?
That's the strategy.
That's the other half of that strategy, right? Crowd control, the other one's resistance. Who needs it if the enemy are dead?
Hey, you talked about channeling Darian. Sometimes that was the game plan for him. Bit of a history lesson on today. Blasting and Santos up in the top, being able to clear away what Genthix and White Lotus are doing. They've been trying and trying to hit this tower down, but they've really only managed to make a few scratches in the armor of it. We're getting closer to the 20-minute mark. The Baron starts to become a reality. White Lotus needs to get his items completed, but he's kind of been stopped up, just focused on the farming. When he gets that Hurricane, things will change, but still a ways off.
Yep, duo tops for now, but not really the flashback to the lane swap meta, thankfully. At this point, this is just Lyon not being able to push the tower down, and VP not having too many options either. That's the problem, is Sia just pushes mid, recalls, comes back to mid. Pushes mid, recalls, comes back to mid. Looks for a play anywhere else, but Paranoia isn't able to push in without getting a kill, and then Creox coming to help him, and that opportunity is very few and far between in the mid lane for VP. So that's why we're kind of at a stalemate. Lyon not able to push on the top side, VP not able to push through mid. Means you've got very shallow vision control. It means you have less time to react on the plays, less time to set things up.
You got to think, the longer the ebb and flow goes in the game, somebody's going to get antsy. Somebody's going to want to go for the push. Virtus.pro have been stacking up objectives, getting themselves a Cloud Dragon on top of that first Infernal. They might be the ones to pull the trigger, but if they're confident enough that they can just outlive, outlast, they may not do it. They might force Lyon to play that game. But you can see Creox and Santos moving in. Genthix is able to dodge. There's the smoke screen. Unbreakable's on. He stands next to White Lotus. See what they get out of this one. Making a move towards the mid lane in mass. Doxy Paranoia already here. Baron's about to spawn. Nobody's eyeballing that just yet. Meanwhile, Giral still keeps the push going down on the bottom side. Teleports both available. Is this where we start to see the big fights?
This is like the worst game of hide and seek ever. Creox and Santos all standing on wards, trying to get themselves in a position to get a catch. Look, they got control wards around the place. Apart from that one.
Here we go, Fate's Call onto Genthix. Now Santos, he's caught and isolated. It's going to be White Lotus that's able to sink the sticks in for the kill. Meanwhile, in goes Adi looking for Blast. He forces the flash out. Full culling channel. A lot of it's dodged right now, but that is one quick kill onto VP's support. It's going to mean that Lyon Gaming looking like they go for the push down the mid lane. However, all of Virtus.pro still here to react.
Yeah, Lyon, they're actually going to pull back away from mid tower. That Cassiopeia is just too strong defensively right now, so it doesn't open up the game too much, but you can see if they can get White Lotus into a position to throw Genthix in. Giral didn't even have to use his ultimate this time. White Lotus got that engage, but it doesn't translate into a tower. That's the problem for Lyon Gaming right now, is they need more than just one kill on the support to really actually punish any missed positions out of VP.
Yeah, we could definitely be in for a longer one. Usually teams start to take objectives off the back of fights, but since these haven't been big, decisive fights, just one kill, maybe two here and there, it means that the gold is still going to be a little bit lacking on both sides, and the difference maker could come later on in the game. It's building up to a big crescendo in that case.
No, we saw Sonar in the other games. That was
sorry, my bad.
The Marines played that. I noticed you said ebb and flow earlier. We can get that one over and done with. No Nami in this game.
I'm trying to give you the coded messages.
So yeah, just trying to say ranged supports. Well, we got one. We got a brand.
Yep, that's Brand's definitely got some range. I have been on the receiving end of that one. Now, speaking of receiving end, Dogsy is about to find out the Brand's done the combo with White Lotus. That one's gonna hurt. Pull out the Ren stacks. White Lotus getting his third kill of the game. Paranoia was looking for revenge on the mid side, but Seiya was there to back him up, and the wave should get cleared away nice and easy. Dodging out of miasma from Paranoia, and neither VP nor Lyon Gaming can take down the mid turret.
See, I don't think Doxy was listening to us. He got the Void Staff there. He was meant to kill the 3 of them, like 1v3, like at that point. Surely that's how you end up playing that one through, but obviously overextended in the bottom side. Now opens up the bot lane for White Lotus to push through. He's got a lot of time here because they've seen every other member of VP up on the top half of the map. So the bot inner is actually going to fall faster than that top adder tower that White Lotus have been looking at for like 5 minutes.
Finally is able to finish that one off, so if you can't get one tower, move around the other side, grab that. Now it is 2-2. Lyon Gaming evening up that score and getting themselves a small gold lead to boot.
And you can see once that Hurricane was on, Kalista push power just gets so much better. You're able to just continually AoE rend and then move up to the tower, push it down, extra attack speed. Everything's all great there. And you can see such a big lead already. 3-1 for Kalista on the other side. 187 CS down, just over 20 for blasting. So really hurting in comparison to White Lotus. This White Lotus is going to carry these fights. He's going to jump forward. He's going to just land as many of those autos as he can and take people out.
Yep, VP are going to have to look for another hero outside their AD carry. Blasting's window still a while away from closing, but it's definitely not nearly as powerful. However, they do have that Rumble. They do have that Cassiopeia. They are not lacking magic damage if you include the brand as well. Speaking of, looking for the Braum. With the help of Creox, chase down, but you got to be careful. You don't want to get stopped and stunned up. White Lotus is also there, looking to throw the Braum in instead. He flashes forward, but in comes Giral with the Justice Punch, looking for Santos. He gets a stun off, or a taunt, I should say, and that is enough to finish the job now. Another kill goes the way of White Lotus. Lyon Gaming starting to play with some confidence here, looking to finally push down this mid, but Paranoia and Doxy still have the wave clear for days.
A lot of reasons to be confident for Lyon Gaming right now. The 4-1 Kalista should be enough to carry this game through. QSS on top of it all, so even if you do get stunned by the brand or the Cassiopeia, get right back out.
Speaking of stun, Doxy, he's on the wrong side of it once again. White Lotus picking up a rampage kill while Virtus.pro were caught snoozing on the Dragon. Creox could be in trouble. Sonic Wave connects, but Adi's not fool enough to go on in, but finally it looks like this is the push that is going to seal the deal on this mid lane. Creox forced back, Blasting the only one here to defend. In comes the brand, and no, they cannot do it. Paranoia was still there.
Yeah, comes in from the side, Miasma goes down, blocks any kind of play onto the tower, and you can see that White Lotus ultimate still not quite available from the last exchange. Giral hasn't had that massive impact coming into fights that we wanted to see from him. Adi, can he do it?
Oh, he can, Adi! And he's getting out. Style and play takes the Blast Cone Express, and why not? Had your dinner, grab some Krugs for dessert.
He saw Levi do it the other day. He's like, I can do it. Maybe not quite as smooth, not as flashy as the in and out straight through the back of the Dragon, but nevertheless, Adi comes up with the Cloud Drake steal. Well, takes away a possible second one for VP, and Lyon Gaming, that's going to allow him to get some of those engages a little faster, perhaps.
That's true. They match speed for speed right now. May not be the most important Drake in terms of battle stats, but it definitely has its own uses. And also, you can get inside the head. A team like Virtus.pro, when you do it, Adi, let's take a look at this one again.
So, got the vision from the plant. Adi goes in. Early smite came through from Creox, and look, doesn't look like Adi actually smited. May very well have just been the resonating strike damage coming through to get that kill. Bit of a mistake out of Creox, but Adi comes in, gets the Dragon. It's like, whew, all skill.
Sometimes you force the panic smite like they did out of Creox, and as a result, Adi was able to finish the job up. So, while the gold is still in Lyon's favor, they managed to get themselves a Dragon to even things up just a little bit. And now the Baron starts to become the big objective to Jor. Either team not keen to start it just yet, but with the 5-kill Kalista with the Hurricane, Blade of the Rune King, starts to get a little bit faster to do. If they can get a pick off, that might be the option for Lyon Gaming.
May very well. You can see Adi looking set up for another dive himself.
There's collateral damage burn by Creox. He pushes back, take a lot more damage than White Lotus was able to dish. Santos was able to catch sight of Adi, get a little bit of extra damage on top of him, but EP need to be able to group for these team fights. Doxy heading down to the bot while Seiya's up in the top. Oh, Doxy's actually hanging around in this jungle right now, so it's Lyon Gaming getting the push off.
It's taking its time, but Seiya finally getting up to this top side. It is a closer game, I think, than it looks like from the side of VP. They are only 900 gold before this tower goes down. behind. So VP certainly aren't out of it. And of course, we haven't had any of these big fights that we're really expecting as a 5v5 setup. We've had a couple of skirmishes that have gone in the way of Lyon Gaming, but VP certainly not out of it.
Yeah, first couple of days, we really just saw all action all the time. And now when it comes down to it, we're in the exhibition match portion.
Now we're not getting the
action. We're not getting the
Come
crazy
on.
action. I don't understand, but that's okay. Maybe try to play it out as clean as possible. That's the VP in line strategy. Here is a Weaver's Wall to cut off nobody. Blasting's able to relentless pursue over it. And now it is the game of ebb and flow with the wave once again.
That was less of a wall and more of like a theme park barrier, right? Where you just duck under it. Not exactly.
No security guards
the
watching
effect.
on that one.
No, there was not a budget for that one, so didn't get approved yet. So Lyon, they want to go forward onto that mid tower, and they just can't get it. This defense out of Paranoia has been, I kind of want to say strong, but at the same time, it's Cassiopeia. So always has this as a positive, is you just throw Miasma down and clear it out. But normally the way of beating Cassiopeia is you go around the side and just come and kick her with the LYN, but VP have been playing pretty well around defending mid lane.
Well, there's one thing I've seen from this entire tournament so far. It's that Virtus.pro definitely know their mid lane. Hard to collapse on these guys. They know how to come together at the right time. And as a result, that tower still standing. Both towers still standing, of course, because Seiya's not been slouching on clearing away the mid lane waves either. So we could be in for a long one in that side with all the side lanes already pushed away. We saw last time the teams met, a lot of tricky action on either way, and that teleport into the bottom, of course, a whole nother story, but
I mean, the last game was basically Blasting doing a good impression of one of their other teams. So standing down mid, throwing ash arrows, trying to snipe people, trying to AWP down mid all the way through. Well, it's a lot trickier when everybody just kind of
it's a long cooldown on that offense for sure. But Lyon Gaming are still able to clear away the waves once again, so we're in the holding pattern of a game. But there's a lot of vision covering this river. If Virtus.pro do step 1 foot out of bounds, they get instantly spotted by this Lyon Gaming team. However, Skull Crab had been picked up by VP, so the Baron cannot be started easily by Lyon Gaming. The rush would obviously be counteracted pretty quickly.
No, with that attitude, they got a Callista. 5-1 Callista, Blade of the Ruined King, Ren stacks. Just throw everything at it. Get to that 1800 damage point, coordinate Smite and Rend at the same time.
Where they're playing, though, they don't want to pull the trigger on anything. Lyon waiting for a pick.
Honestly, it's understandable.
Yeah.
You still need time to get Callista there to the Rend point.
Surprisingly conservative game, though, that's for sure. I mean, we're close to 30 minutes in. We've only got 10 kills right now. It's definitely looking a lot less like the rest of the games we've been seeing in this tournament so far. It seems like we will be caught till Judgment Day on this mid tower. Blasting cut off until he gets his E. There it goes. Santa's locked up by the wall. They just got to finish the tower, but Adi and Paranoia, they're going at each other here with the Ghost on. Adi's going to try to get the kickoff to escape from the snake.
They didn't get the tower still. Nobody could get that. They didn't have Paranoia. Oh, hang on, that was the Galio ult.
Oh, he's going to have to Justice Punch away. The equalizer comes on down, and man, I just want to know who's going to get the first tower in the mid.
I mean, at this rate, it looks like it's going to be VP. Although they are now grouping, just clearing out vision around the river area, so it don't look like they're going to push quite yet, but 5 people stacked. Wait, look about Oddies coming around. Doesn't have that kick available.
Seiya could get caught here. He does have flash. Try to cut off the members of Lyon Gaming. In goes Paranoia, but he is in dangerous territory. White Lotus is going on in. Seiya is going to go down. Paranoia finishes him off with the Twin Fang. Now, I'd like to say something's about to happen, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, there's more clouds available on this rip. So, the wall went up. White Lotus comes in. Okay, that's why they didn't get the wall.
Big
Brandol comes through, plus a lot of damage ahead on White Lotus early. It was Dogsy closing in on that fight with the equalizer available that called Giral into the fight. Gets that damage reduction on White Lotus and forces a retreat out of Lyon Gaming.
Yeah.
Oh, can he do it again?
Oh,
this time Paranoia.
You learn
one. Paranoid.
The blast call. Hello.
He's got it again.
This one, Adi makes it look easy.
Yeah.
That time he did smite.
Yeah, this one there was a smite available. A little unfortunate. Paranoia's like, I can solo it down. That's easy. I just don't want anyone to come here. Even pulls it out. Doesn't attribute that there's a blast cone behind the pit.
Whoopsie daisy. All right, so Lyon Gaming, it's still a very slim gold lead for these guys, but they managed to sneak themselves a couple of Drakes, stealing them out from under the noses of Virtus.pro. And with the clouds, you're going to be able to get there faster, but you got to start thinking Baron is going to be the real possibility. When you have a 5-1 Callista just picking up a BF sword, extra damage on all those stacks now. Problem is, They'd already burned a lot in that last fight. They have to wait for the cooldowns to finish. Jaral is only just getting his hero's entrance back up. Remember, he blew pretty much everything to get out of that engage.
It's nearly there, though. Nearly the wombo combo is available. I want to see it actually get pulled off once. Like the triple knockup again and again and again, and then Kalista just rends the entire fight.
Yep.
It's just the kind of comp you don't always see in competitive, right? Where you've got that much of the same type of crowd control. Normally there's at least a bit of a mix.
And that's because it's risky, right? Like, you need to be able to pull off that wombo combo. We often think about that term as being something like, all right, give me a submarine Orianna ball combination, because Orianna by herself is sort of a wombo combo.
Yeah.
But this is a different kind.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's that risky, realistically. I mean, Galio is standard, Braum is somewhat standard if you're playing a defensive bot lane meta, and Kalista has been played in a lot of regions. So I think what I mean by that is just the fact that you see three champions with like almost the same type of crowd control come through. So that's what I want to see out of Lyon Gaming. But they only really need to hit one.
Here we go. We might just get our wish. Baron's been started. Do they full-on commit to it? Virtus.pro got the sight in the back.
White Lotus is like, come on, I got this. I got the Ren.
Got a lot of damage, but they don't want to go all in for the Baron. And you can see VP, all they had to do was show up, flex their muscles right now. Creox looks like he finished off the Scuttle Crab, and now VP's in prime position to finally finish off the mid, but here comes Dottie around the side. Where's he going to go right now? Looking for Creox, who chases him back and away. Cat and mouse, there's the equalizer in the back. Genthix popping up Doxy, here we go. It's a hero's entrance, but Doxy has gone gold just in time to go down. The Weaver's Wall coming out. Force and flashes, isolating Creox. There's a Sonic Wave collateral damage. He's gonna close a lot of distance there, or get the hell out of dodge. Now Lyon Gaming with the top laner down. Do they risk to start the Baron off again?
Well, I know they got 40 seconds before Rumble's available, so despite there being the Rift Scuttle of Vision in favor of VP again, Ren plus Smite should be enough to outdamage anything VP want to throw at this.
So they might just want to try and take the fight. The Baron can be their fifth man. Well, they don't have a top laner up and available. Jaral sends the winds out. VP are blown back. Just a couple of seconds. The Baron is thwarted. Lyon Gaming cannot capitalize, and the mid tower is still standing. At 34 minutes into this game, VP want to get the kill, but they just can't do it.
Yeah, Lyon will defend it again. So one of the reasons that Lyon didn't all in on the Baron there is the fact that Paranoia ultimate available, Santis ultimate available. They didn't really want to take a team fight against two of the big team fighting tools. This is the engage onto Doxy to start. Finally has that Zhonya's, goes, haha, now I can utilize this. Dodges out of the knockup only to get hit by another one of those spears coming from White Lotus, and then it's a pretty easy follow-up. Looked like a little bit of a miscommunication out of C and Oddie just on the position of the wall tabs, that Oddie couldn't follow up on the Sonic Wave because the wall was blocking him for too long, but nevertheless, still a fight going over in favor of Lyon Gaming. VP still maintaining the CS and lead differential as being the case for the most part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's really come down to just a handful of picks, and that's what's making the difference, right? Both these teams kind of came to play, but instead of playing League of Legends, they were playing tower defense for a while, and it looked like Lyon Gaming was the one who got the better of that. With the 4 towers to 2 right now, Lions still want to take out the Baron. They cleared vision away from the pit. They're going to go ahead and give it another crack, and Genthix the only man spotted. Here comes the blue trinket. So they know the Baron is up, and VP are coming around the side to collapse. Here's Paranoia. Genthix blocking with the Unbreakable. In comes the Pyroclasm. Baron is down to 3,000. This is dangerous, but the fight is going on multiple fronts. Here comes Jaral. They take the Baron. Creox off the screen, finishes it off, but he gives his life for the effort. It is 1 man down from VP, but they get the Baron on 4.
Yeah, they got the Baron because White Lotus had been zoned all the way away from the Baron pit. You saw how far Doxy had him pushed back towards his own jungle. We last saw Baron at like 4,000 health. So Creox, somebody else was doing damage to that Baron at the same time. I hope the observers will end up getting us a replay of that, because I want to see how low that was when Creox actually got into the pit. Nevertheless, that is the kind of play that'll get VP right back in control of this game.
Oh yeah, and they definitely have some smiles on their faces after that one. You take my dragon? All right, you take it again? Okay, now I'm mad. I'm going to take your Baron, and here's how it happens.
So here we go. We saw it at 4,000 health when the Pyroclasm went in. 3,000 health on the board there. Who is it that keeps dealing damage? Oh, wow, okay, it's just the explosion out of some of the brand damage, plus Creox puts down damage on top of it is enough to deal a whole bunch
Simple as that.
Stolen away. White Lotus out of rend radius. And finally down goes the mid tower.
Took him 36 minutes, I should say, in a Baron buff to do it. But VP, they even the gold game up. They're only 1 tower down now, and their team fighting is starting to get a little scary, especially now that they've been able to steal away a big buff. 7 seconds on Elder Drake.
Yeah, now Elder is on the cards, potentially, and Lyon are going to be the ones that will end up in control of the positioning because Paranoia wasn't available, or at least in place. Keep thinking there's a Nocturne in this game.
Yep. I think you're just a little paranoid. There we go.
Thanks, Black Sabbath. This surely has been a crazy train on the way to a 40-minute game at this point.
All aboard stress.
White Lotus.
All right.
Gonna solo it down.
Everybody sees this one coming a mile away right now. So, talked about a crazy train. Well, the pain train was coming for White Lotus. He is in some trouble if he were to commit to that one, but he's able to hop out. Baron be reset. 7-1-1 though. You talked about him being the big carry. It's certainly going to be the case. And now they've caught Paranoia. White Lotus gets himself an 8th, and he brings his team to the party. Seiya narrowly etching it out. Burned both of his summoners and most of his health bar to get out of that one. Maybe now is the time for the Elder Dragon in earnest.
Yeah, I mean, they can turn away towards this if they want it. They can bait in Doxy. Either is a good option for Lyon right now. They're slowing down the Baron buff. Only 1 minute remains on that buff, and it means that Lyon just have this exceptionally strong fight if Callista is alive.
Yeah, and now they've got the taunt up onto Kriok. Seiya still pushing out in the middle. The rest of the members still doing damage. There's a lot of Ren stacks sitting inside of it. They're even going to get themselves a redemption to stay nice and healthy. VP are zoned off, and there's only one way that this dragon can go.
How much is this going to be? 2k health off a Ren?
When's he going to rend it?
When is it? 18.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's about the spot you normally would rend.
Yep, that is a 4-item Callista late.
But that had been going for so long that I was like, is that like a ridiculously high rend?
When you don't actually see any more Ren stacks like physically going in there, you're like, all right, so they're still stacking up, but I can't tell anymore. That's got to be a lot of damage.
I love those videos of people when Callista came out, or not when she came out, but when the Rift Scuttler was implemented, and you'd auto the Rift Scuttler for like 5 minutes in a custom game, throw the Q through into the dragon, 1 rend would kill it from max health. That was one of my favorite things that people were doing with Callista. Basically impractical and never going to happen really to that level in a competitive game, but we've seen the bot lane kills happen where you stack them up off a minion, Q through rend, and get like a low health target kill.
Yeah, and you don't expect that amount of damage. Most people, you have to think when you're playing against a Callista, you got to be expecting a big burst at the end of it all, but not always when the stacks are on the minion. And
that's the interesting thing with like such a mechanically heavy AD carry is a lot of players tend away from it. So every so often you get Callista being a fringe meta pick, and for us in Europe, typically the player that goes towards that is Reckless. So I'm glad to see for Lyon Gaming, they got a player that's very comfortable on Callista for White Lotus here. Yeah. Go very aggressive, look to build the team basically around this Callista in team fights and solo carry the majority of the damage.
I mean, it's been working more often than not, despite the fact that they had a Graves in their blind spot to steal away the Baron buff. They're still able to get a lot more on the map, and they kind of held out after a little bit of an early game setback. VP were getting a couple of pick kills themselves. They've been held to only 4 this game, and we're 40 minutes in. We talked about one explosive fight really meaning the difference. Well, the clock is ticking, and it's about time.
Yeah, there haven't really been that many of those explosive large fights. Kriox.
He almost blew up himself. Pillar of Flame covering his escape. Now it's Lyon trying to siege down the top once again. Gallia waiting in the brush. Doxy. Here comes Giral. Equalizer thrown down. He goes golden behind the wall. Blasting. Throws down a big culling chain. White Lotus looking to play big with Genthix. Instead, he pulls him right back in. Redemption comes out. There goes the tower. Lyon Gaming don't want to push their luck. That's 1 kill on the tower, but no kills on Champion.
Look at how low the health bars are for Lyon. That was all for an inner tower, while they had Elder Drake as well. Okay, it doesn't really augment much of their tower pushing, but that fight, they took a whole lot of damage. And Lyon Gaming, you can tell they're not quite far enough ahead to just kind of close the game out. Despite having an 8-1 Callista, that's where almost all of the kills have gone.
Yeah, big damage dealers on the VP side, though. Even though they haven't been able to find a whole lot of kills, they're able to push back, and it's the wave clear power of Paranoia, blasting with the culling. Even if he was set behind, he's still able to do a lot, and VP are not going down without a fight. No. Or at least without a lot of wave pushes.
Not without stall tactics. They want to try and take us to overtime.
Just might do.
Sadly, not a function.
Well, when the game clock can creep up as long as you like, VP just might find themselves in one a little unofficially. 42 minutes could be in, like I said, for one of the longer games we've seen in this play-in stage, if VP can keep the stall up.
And that was so crazy to us because Lyon Gaming come into this, their average game time in their region is 31 minutes, 30 seconds. Average over 31 games.
We had in the first day they played a whole lot more, and here it's following the same trend. At least they're getting experience playing the longer. We're getting LATAM North.
I love that one. That's the one that everybody uses in Europe when we have our Origin Rockout 70-minute games. Is everyone's like, well, you never scrim to 70 minutes. So now they get to experience that one. Who knows? Maybe that'll be enough to turn fortunes around. It was for Rockout. They went on a 6-game winning streak and beat G2 after that. So sadly for Lyon, it's a little too late perhaps for that. But maybe they'll finish strong in the last game of the day later.
Right, you want to at least show that you could compete on this big stage against some of these teams. You may not be making it on to the next stage of MSI, but if you can go out with a bang, that always feels good. You come back stronger for the next international tournament.
And I think that you look at like players like White Lotus and Giral. Honestly, the Lyon Gaming players have looked pretty solid. But hang on, Flash on the bottom side.
Oh, this time they got the rend off early enough. White Lotus able to secure up the Baron. See Creox hanging around, sniffing to see if he can get himself another steal. Not the case this time around, so Lyon are able to lock it up.
And I think this is the interesting opportunity that these teams have right now where, okay, yes, it's not a possibility to qualify through into MSI, but you look at all of these teams are going to be aiming for the qualification stage for Worlds. And if you're putting in big performances like White Lotus has this weekend, like, you know, Levi has, where you say, wow, that guy is really standing out. That's the kind of thing that gets people really excited about a team. Even if you're not maybe a Lyon Gaming fan, if you are wanting to support your region, you look towards these players that are standing out amongst the crowd, and that's where this 8-1 performance on Kalista may very well end up, you know, paying off dividends for White Lotus, because suddenly everybody's like, wow, here's Kalista. I love watching that guy play.
Yeah, you get to have people take notice of you, not just the fans, but also potential opponents as well. And even if you show your hand playing off something like this Kalista, you might even earn yourself some respect bans down the line and be able to pull out something a little bit more standard. This game, though, it has really been back and forth, and I think a team that has earned respect, Virtus.pro here, for holding the line as long as they did.
Well, they still are. I mean, Baron buff is only just taken, so that is the next obvious defensive standpoint for VP is they have to defend through the Baron buff minions.
See if they can do it here. It comes blasting. It's 3 members strong in the mid for Lyon Gaming, with Saya kind of hanging around the back and Giral on the bottom, trying for sort of a compressed 1-3-1 for just a minute. Saya's back there and see if they can drag out VP's defenses. It's going to be hard to deal with Baron buff on 3 lanes, but VP have shown a lot of tenacity. If they can get a kickoff here, they can start to shut this push down.
Yeah, that is very true for Lyon Gaming right now. They have been slow to push in. Oddie's looking around the side in mid lane to try and get in there, but Giral, now they come to the collapse in mid.
There's the Weaver's Wall, there is the Hero's Entrance, and there is the Redemption. That's half the damage onto the tower, but the Equalizer coming through, shredding through the minions. Too little, too late, as the tower will fall. Giral is low. Do they want to take this fight? It doesn't look like it. Lyon Gaming, with those guerrilla tactics, once again, in, take the tower, and out.
But I actually think that for VP right now, they've already taken another minute off this Baron buff, and all that fell was 1 inhibitor turret. Now, okay, maybe it's the move back in for the inhib. This is the type of play that not every team would look to do here because it is risky. TP
Teleport
comes through. That's Galio using the TP to come into the fight. And they want to go on Doxy for now.
But he turns back around. He's inside the base gate. The inhibitor will fall, but now Giral is caught between the rest. Members of Virtus.pro has to burn his flash. He is getting out for now. Just dodges the brand damage, and that was a risky move by Lyon Gaming, but it pays off.
So 1 inhibitor does go down now in this middle lane. That opens the map back up for Lyon Gaming. But VP, they didn't lose a critical amount of their base, that this game is completely over for them right now. So they're looking to defend another day. We're at 46 minutes already in this, and you can see they're somewhat conservative on the team fight because they know if Lyon are only getting mid-inhib, it doesn't end the game. If VP die in a fight over mid-inhib, that's the game done.
Right, and you've got to look at some of these champion choices that are coming to bear in the late game, right? You've got the Cassiopeia that's getting closer and closer to a full item build-up. You've got the Graves that's getting stronger, that's able to shred down, and he's also tanky as hell once you consider the fact that he's going to be able to block a lot of that damage up. And your Brand is getting a lot more items, even your Lucian who got set far behind. you're going to be able to dish a lot. You just got to be able to survive those fights.
Where's Santos going next? That's what I want to know.
The rest of the team down to the bottom seems to be the plan. Lyon Gaming should be able to finish this tower off in short order. Still a lot of wave clear there. That is going to do it. We're almost 47 minutes in this one, Stress. It's a slow march for Lyon Gaming.
But without the Baron buff available, Lyon Gaming cannot really push all the way in. They don't have the Talia ultimate available. Galio does have his, so if the fight starts, that's what we got to look for to see if VP position himself. Oh, that was a great knockback on Krios.
Found him, but he was able to dash away. Adi gets healed up courtesy of the redemption from Genthix, and now looking for inhibitor number 2. Lyon Gaming playing it out cautiously, keeping the waves nice and thin and unbreakable. It's going to be popped there. A couple more minion hits on the inhib. It's not going to go down just yet.
Pyroclasm got used. I don't know whether it was blocked by the shield of Genthix, but it did end up kind of stopping, I believe. Maybe hit another couple of people.
Meanwhile, top lane has been neglected here by Lyon Gaming. Virtus.pro, they have the Winions there, but can they hold this inhibitor line? Supers in the mid. Their defenses are wearing thin, but can they keep it alive right now? Adi's nearly gonna fall as he's got to safeguard out to Genthix.
Elder Drake is up in 45 right now, so Lyon Gaming may end up just pulling back away from that. You can see how low Adi was after that exchange. As is White Lotus. Kalista heals up of 2 autos that hit 3 minions from 30% to full. You know why Creox has got that Executioner's Calling. A triple lifesteal items. This means White Lotus should be unkillable in fights, but that's where that Graves Executioner's Calling is going to come in handy.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to turn the difference, right? VP need to be able to find White Lotus and finish him off, but there is so much protection in this composition. Shield for Madi, Jural, Genthix, they have got everything going for them right now, and well, the Elder Dragon is about to spawn, but you can see VP, they're not content to let this one go idly by. They want to make it a 10-man party in the pit.
I'm waiting to see whether Genthix ends up getting something like a Knight's Vow or someone does get it even more protection. He's already got Locket, Redemption, Face of the Mountain. There's double GA on the side of Lyon. They're difficult enough to kill, and then you got to try and take out White Lotus. Talia Wall gets cast, so surely this is the final nail here. It's going down slowly.
They're not going to go ahead and take it right now. VP backing off, giving away this Elder Dragon to Lyon Gaming. And in another minute, there'll be another Baron available. And these guys should have the tools to finish the job. But it is a very, very late game. And if VP can take a fight, turn it around, those death timers are way too high for Lyon Gaming to do much about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, VP, they got a lot of towers and inhibitors stood in front of them if they do take a fight. But if White Lotus doesn't manage to get himself free, of whether it's the Cassiopeia ultimate, Brand stun, does of course have Mercurial Scimitar and hasn't really been forced to use it too much in this game. I mean, one stray stun and a lot of damage comes out. White Lotus dies, nobody can really survive against the rest of VP. Ooh, Adi, careful here.
Yeah, he's gonna have to survive for sure. But on the flip side, we also haven't seen that Wombo combo coming up huge because it has just been a pick here, a kill there. And Virtus.pro have been great at minimizing their losses despite the fact that their base is in shambles. It's a slow victory for Lyon Gaming. They have been unable to close this one out in ways they're accustomed to as Doxy gets kicked back, flashes away, pops the blast cone. Now the Baron's live, but no one's starting at TP coming in for Jural, but he is not surrounded by teammates just yet.
But look how tanky he is at this point. 4.2k on the health bar there.
That's a big
gargoyle. It is difficult to eat through Lyon health bars.
A little bit chewy, that's for sure. 50 minutes now, another Baron gets on started as VP are forced to go back and defend their base. This one is going to go freely over to the side of Lyon Gaming. They got Baron, they got Elder, they've got everything on the map, but they've yet to finish the game.
Yeah, with 2 cavities of those mid and bot towers down. Looks like Lyon are just aiming for one more extraction on the top side. Another tower to go down. The inhibitors did just come back up, but Lyon Gaming. Surely this has to be it. Baron, Elder, an 8-1 Kalista.
Got to be able to clean this one up. Brush away the last of the defenses of Virtus.pro, but it's going to be hard. I mean, there's so much damage here, Stress. Lyon don't want to pull this trigger. They've got everything, but they don't want to do it as fast. There we go.
Plugged in
all
now.
Going in. Justice Punch right now. The tower is going, and gone. Pyroclasm. Adi's still able to stay alive thanks to that redemption. In goes the rest of the team, looking for Creox, who's tanking everything up. Now Paranoia going low. Jural makes a big entrance, but it doesn't mean a thing now. For VP, the rest of them, they're falling down. Not a whole lot of help for these guys as Creox and Santa's left to defend. One inhibitor falling in the top. And now you got to think it's time to finish the job off. Lyon Gaming, they want to end this one. It almost took them an hour to do it, though.
Yeah, I remember it being the tortoise and the hare, but Lyon slow and steady won this race as 52 minutes into the game. They're going to close this out against VP.
Doesn't matter how slow they stalk their prey. Lyon Gaming sinking the fangs in. They'll be able to take out VP, getting themselves a win, getting themselves some pride for Latin America North.
Whew, that was a long game, but you can see how difficult it was for VP